just didn't taste the same. It was already 3 months since they'd moved from their rented house in Musashino to this 7-story apartment building that stood on a landfill. But she still couldn't get used to the tap water. Let's talk about Koji Suzuki. He's a Japanese author, and you've already seen probably one of his works as a movie. That movie was The Ring, starring Naomi Watts. Before that there was the Japanese movie The Ring, and both of them were based on the novel Ringu or Ring by Koji Suzuki, which he wrote in 1995. The Ring is actually a trilogy consisting of Ring, then there's Spiral, and the latest book, Loop, came out in 1998 and is the final chapter of the Ring story. Currently I'm reading this book, and so far I am not really enjoying it that much, but that's a whole different story. So, Koji Suzuki, the book I'm going to talk about today, is not one of his most famous works, but it is one of the most dearest to me. The book is called Dark Water, and it was written between working on the books of the Ring trilogy, namely in 1997 or 1998. The translation came out, the English translation came out in 2004. So the cinephiles of you have probably heard Dark Water before as a title of a movie starring Jennifer Connelly. Dark Water is a collection of short stories, and all of them have this connecting element of water being somehow involved. The story you have seen probably in the film Dark Water is the first one, which is just called Floating Water. Counting the prologue and the epilogue, there are 9 stories in here. And they are either connected very loosely or not at all. Although there's this encompassing story that starts in the first chapter and gets concluded in the last one. Koji Suzuki's writing style, at least what I can say from the English translation, is very concise and very clear, and not with any ornaments. If you compare him to Lovecraft, it's pretty clear cut, and this sometimes makes it so horrific because he's describing all these strange things that happen in a very matter-of-fact way. He's like a surgeon cutting exactly in the right place to really get your fear going, which is pretty impressive. My first contact with Koji Suzuki was through this book. I didn't know anything about Suzuki. I haven't heard anything about his novels before. I think I've seen the movie Ring before, but that was about it. I just liked the cover. When flipping through my edition of the book, you see there's a lot of printed out little cards with a lot of pictures and descriptions and little tags, and this is my way of enhancing and augmenting my reading experience. When I started reading the book, I was enthralled by all these descriptions and vivid places, and they were also so foreign to me because the book is set in Japan and Tokyo. So I started researching and just copying pictures from the internet and printing them out. And to me, this really enhances the whole story a bit, because I not only have the story to read, but also what is implied by the story in the different backgrounds. So if you've read your Stephen King, your Bret Easton Ellis, your Edgar Allan Poe, and still think, yeah, there's something missing, and you want to try something a little bit more foreign, then a Japanese horror author such as Koji Suzuki is probably worth checking out. And you can't go wrong with Dark Water, because since there are 9 different stories in it, I'm sure you find something that's to your liking. And since he's still writing books, there's more to come. He drank a glass or 2 of sake and went to sleep. And something happened in his mind that was very much like throwing his wife's body down a well and putting a lid on it. His brain cells confined the memory of his deed to its deepest recesses and capped it with a lid. one that was destined to be reopened soon enough.